DIY.
One of the most beautiful voices ever in music, Miss Lauryn Hill. She talks about a few different things. The first of which is why she took a break from music at a time when everybody around her was telling her that's not a wise decision to make.
I'm not in the studio right now, and everybody in my world thinks I'm crazy. What's going on? You need another album out. The time is running out. You have a certain window to make music. For a little while, I listened to that, and I was like in the studio working real hard. Music was created, but it wasn't my best. And it wasn't my best because there was no substance, and there was no substance because there was no experience. I'd gone from the studio to the stage, back into the studio again. And the only reason why the Miseducation was the album it was because of a myriad of experiences that took place before the production part, before the creation. I can't create and not live. So, in hip-hop, we're all trying to get to this next level without the next level finding us.
You notice how her voice changes when she starts to quote the people who are telling her why it's a problem that she's not in the studio?
What's going on? You need another album out. The time is running out. You have a certain window to make music.
Her natural voice, where she's talking from the perspective of the creator, of the artist, of the person that loves his craft, sounds a lot more in control, a lot less demanding, and a lot more understanding of the circumstances. The ones she's imitating, that voice sounds like somebody who's never worked on a song ever before. And it probably is the people who are part of the team of the label that she signed to. They don't understand what it's like to experience a certain amount of life that you're now able to pour into your music, but you no longer have that luxury because your life has shifted. Instead of going through relationships, heartbreaks that may inspire these amazing songs, you barely have time for yourself.
Music was created, but it wasn't my best. And it wasn't my best because there was no substance, and there was no substance because there was no experience. I'd gone from the studio to the stage, back into the studio again.
Now her life consists of less relationship issues, less the everyday Joe Schmo life issues, because she's full-time performer, on tour, doing TV appearances, creating music like a machine, and the voices that she seems to be imitating are people who simply don't understand that. What they understand is the bottom line.
I can't create and not live. So, in hip-hop, we're all trying to get to this next level without the next level finding us.
Question: would you want your doctor to work on you while you're dealing with some kind of a health issue that is of concern to you? Would you want your doctor to work on you when they don't feel their best? Do you want that person that is privately falling apart, that is missing the important details that made them efficient at their job because they're too stressed out a week before you have surgery? Would you want that doctor working on you? Okay, if you say no, why do we expect these artists who are literal surgeons, who dissect stories of their lives, break down in very simplistic ways complex emotions that some of us can't even find the words to express to our peers, our significant others? She does this over a beat, in timing and in key.
For a little while, I listened to that, and I was like in the studio working real hard. Music was created, but it wasn't my best. And it wasn't my best because there was no substance.
It makes me believe that there are so many people who are in charge of the end product of music that, in my opinion, have no business being in the room. Those people are good for business. They're good for things meeting a deadline. Most times creatives need someone with a little bit of structure to balance what they're doing so that we can finally get the art. But sometimes those people have way too much power. These folks had the power to have her say, you know what, even though it's my belief that you got to go through life experiences to write the best music, I'll play the game. I will make the songs. But down deep inside, she knows this is not her best work. That's why I use the doctor analogy. If I am a doctor and I care about my patients, I don't want to be in there playing operation with you, and I know I got shit on my mind. I don't want to be in there playing with your life. People who go to a Lauryn Hill as their medicine for their soul, to feel connected to someone who seems to understand what they're going through, do not want to go to a doctor who is being influenced by somebody who doesn't understand the medical field. And yet so many people have a say-so in these creatives' lives, and it's unfortunate.
And the only reason why the Miseducation was the album it was because of a myriad of experiences that took place before the production part, before the creation. I can't create and not live.
This is also a reflection of the sophomore jinx. I have this theory that even though there are artists who release their first album and it does supremely well, these artists feel an overwhelming amount of pressure. Their team has shifted so much. Maybe they're even being told, we don't want you to work with your original producer. We want you to work with these producers now that we have a bigger budget. Even though I believe there's so many different factors that play into it, I'm honestly starting to believe, based upon my own experience as an artist, that it's less about those factors and more about them listening to voices of people who have never done or accomplished the things that they're accomplishing. Now, living in a time where influencers can have that kind of influence, I can't imagine adding on top of those influencers people who are financing your plans as an artist or a producer, having an influence on the music. I think that there was a point in time when those structures created the perfect assembly line for getting music out to the masses in an efficient way, in a pleasing way, and it produced many amazing and legendary results. However, I think that now, with how quickly music moves around the internet, around social media, with how many artists, new artists seem to pop up every single day, it is more than these teams can keep up with. Because a lot of these younger artists, a lot of these producers, a lot of us as DIYers, we don't have anybody to answer to. From the creation of our music, mixing and the mastering, to the uploading, to the graphic design of it, there's very little friction in terms of getting the music out. There's not a team of people who are like, no, this can't happen until this happens. It's just us. I think about all of this and I think about how much, once again, how much art are we getting that is altered because of non-musical decisions? And what would it sound like if they never let that influence get in their ear? I don't think that just applies to folks who are signed. I think that applies to us as well as music creators. Could we be so obsessed with the perspective that our listeners are going to have that it makes us a little less likely to take risk with our music? Yes, absolutely, I think we do. I just want to make sure that if that is the case, there's been at least one person in your corner to tell you to do what you want to do anyways. To me, that's the model of DIYer. It's less about trying to do every single thing yourself. At some point, you do need help. That's not what it's about. To me, it's when you feel like people are not listening to your ideas or giving your ideas a chance, especially people who've never put their fingers down on the keys, people who've never wrote a song. When they don't let you do you, make a conscious decision to do it yourself. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Don't be greedy. Peace.